Hello people and welcome to our channel Counsel and Quote. Today we are going to give you 25 best Jordan Peterson Lobster Quotes. As he gave a comprehensive analogy of lobsters in his second book 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, by putting human beings and lobsters on the same page on many fronts of life. Let's find out in his quotes. So let's get started. Quote number 1. If you are like most people, you don't often think about lobsters unless you are eating one. Number 2. Lobsters live on the ocean floor. They need a home base down there, a range within which they hunt for prey and scavenge around for stray edible bits and pieces of whatever rains down from the continual chaos of carnage and death far above. Number 3. Lobsters have more in common with you than you might think. Number 4. If a dominant lobster is badly defeated, its brain basically dissolves. Then it grows a new subordinate's brain, one more appropriate to its new lowly position. Its original brain just isn't sophisticated to manage the transformation from king to bottom dog without virtually complete dissolution and regrowth. Anyone who has experienced a painful transformation after a serious defeat in romance or career may feel some sense of kinship with the once successful crustacean. Number 5. When a lobster that has just lost a battle is exposed to serotonin, it will stretch itself out, advance even on former victors, and fight longer and harder. The drugs prescribed to depressed human beings, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, have much the same chemical and behavioral effect. In one of the more staggering demonstrations of the evolutionary continuity of life on Earth, Prozac even cheers up lobsters. Number 6. What if there are hundreds of lobsters all trying to make a living and raise a family in the same crowded patch of sand and refuse? Number 7. Lobsters scuttling around on the ocean floor are no exception. If you catch a few dozen and transport them to a new location, you can observe their status forming rituals and techniques. Number 8. Lobsters learn a lot about where they live and they remember what they learn. Number 9. A lobster needs a safe hiding place to rest, free from predators and the forces of nature. Number 10. Furthermore, as lobsters grow, they molt or shed their shells, which leaves them soft and vulnerable for extended periods of time. A burrow under a rock makes a good lobster home, particularly if it is located where shells and other detritus can be dragged into place to cover the entrance. Once the lobster is snugly ensconced inside, however, there may be only a small number of high-quality shelters or hiding places in each new territory. They are scarce and valuable. Other lobsters continually seek them out. Number 11. Sometimes one lobster can tell immediately from the display of claw size that it is much smaller than its opponent and will back down without a fight. Number 12. In the aftermath of a losing battle, regardless of how aggressively a lobster has behaved, it becomes unwilling to fight further even against another previously defeated opponent. Number 13. A vanquished competitor loses confidence, sometimes for days. Sometimes the defeat can have even more severe consequences. Number 14. A lobster loser's brain chemistry differs importantly from that of a lobster winner. This is reflected in their relative postures. Number 50. Whether a lobster is confident or cringing depends on the ratio of two chemicals that modulate communication between lobster neurons, serotonin and octopamine. Winning increases the ratio of the former to the latter. Number 16. A lobster with high levels of serotonin and low levels of octopamine is a cocky, strutting sort of shellfish, makes less likely to back down when challenged. This is because serotonin helps regulate postural flexion. A flexed lobster extends its appendages so that it can look tall and dangerous like Clint Eastwood in a spaghetti western. Number 17. The opposite neurochemical configuration, a high ratio of octopamine to serotonin, produces a defeated-looking, crunched-up, inhibited, drooping, skulking sort of lobster, very likely to hang around street corners and to vanish at the first hint of trouble. Number 18. Serotonin and octopamine also regulate the tail flick reflex, which serves to propel a lobster rapidly backwards when it needs to escape. Less provocation is necessary to trigger that reflex in a defeated lobster. You can see an echo of that in the heightened startle reflex characteristic of the soldier or battered child with post-traumatic stress disorder. Number 19. When a defeated lobster regains its courage and dares to fight again, it is more likely to lose again than you would predict. Statistically, from a tally of its previous fights, its victorious opponent, on the other hand, is more likely to win. It's winner-take-all in the lobster world, just as it is in human societies where the top 1% have as much loot as the bottom 50%, and where the richest 85 people have as much as the bottom 3.5 billion. Number 20. It doesn't take that long before lobsters, testing each other out, learn who can be messed with and who should be given a wide berth. And once they have learned, the resultant hierarchy is exceedingly stable. Number 21. A weaker lobster will quit trying, accept his lowly status, and keep his legs attached to his body. Number 22. The top lobster, by contrast, occupying the best shelter, getting some good rest, finishing a good meal, parades his dominance around his territory, rousting subordinate lobsters from their shelters at night just to remind them who's their daddy. Number 23. The female lobsters also fight hard for territory during the explicitly maternal stages of their existence. Identify the top guy quickly and become irresistibly attracted to him. This is brilliant strategy in my estimation. It's also one used by females of many different species, including humans. Number 24. The dominant male, with his upright and confident posture, not only gets the prime real estate and easiest access to the best hunting grounds, he also gets all the girls. It is exponentially more worthwhile to be successful if you are a lobster and a male. Number 25. Look for your inspiration to the victorious lobster with its 350 million years of practical wisdom. Stand up straight with your shoulders back.